Hello everyone. Today we are especially going to talk about a 60-year cycle, which is been mentioned in Tunnel Through the Air. But before that, let me tell you few of the objectives that we have for making this today's webinar. Now, there are basic two intentions that we have. First of all, we need to give you a hints about the 60-year cycle, right? How to find out the right start point and also the end point. Of course, we'll be giving you details about the 60-year cycle. I mean, like what is the exact date of the cycle, plus the previous 60 years date, so that you are aware that okay, this is a 60-year cycle which is going to happen, right? But we are also going to share you certain hints for that, right? And now why we are going to share these hints with you. Then for that we have got a second objective. The second objective is that we are going to form a group or a team of people who are interested to share their knowledge about WD Gann, right? We also need to have a group or team of people who are interested to learn from others about WD Gann. But if we want to find out these people, we need to first of all understand whether these people do have some basic knowledge about WD Gann or not. Because until and unless you have something to give to others, we won't be able to share much of the things with you. Because this is like much to whatever things we have seen till now on the YouTube videos. This would be maybe something additional to that, probably taking you to the next layer. Of course, WT has been doing all the things together in layers. So let's say, for example, we have gone from one layer to another layer. And if you want to go to the further layers together, we need to understand and have a basic understanding about the layers together, right? So if we have that understanding, please do get back to us. So our humble request is there that we would be giving you details about our coordinates, which would be mentioned in the description, where whatever hints you are able to find from your side pertaining to this 60-year cycle, you need to send it across to you. We will accordingly be able to screen maybe these people together, and then after that we would be making this team together so that we'll be able to work out on various things. See, WD Gann has taken 10 years across to study all these things, right? uh, we also should be taking that much of years. But if we are able to share all the things together with each other, then probably our load would be reduced. Second thing is, not every person is able to understand things from all the perspective together. Let's say we cannot have a 360 degree view together. Maybe someone would be having a USP which they would be able to understand in a better way. The second person may be able to understand things from a different perspective. So until unless we share our perspective with each other, we won't be able to have a better understanding. And also, we probably would be happening that we are complementing each other by doing that. So let's try to do that, right? So our humble request is, try to identify what are the details about the cycles, and please do share with us. We'll be sharing our coordinates about us in the description. So my humble request is, please go through the description so that you are able to contact us, coordinate with us, and try to give your hints and interpretation of the cycles, how they are. So for that, let's start with our book, which is Tunnel Through the Air. So we come down to page number 319. So we are just taking a reference about from the page number 319. The actual details are there on next page. So it's like the enemy, knowing that they now have practically all of Europe against United States, were confident that it would only be a matter of few weeks to take Chicago, Boston, New York, and Washington, then make their own terms, and the United States would be forced to accept. Now, first, probably all the cities are being given. If you ask me what are the important cities, probably I'll go first of all with New York, then Washington, then probably Chicago and Boston. But here, Chicago has been given importance. Maybe probably there's something important. They were expecting the first blow to be struck in Chicago. So this was been expected by United States. So probably one more hint is there. The enemy enforcement has arrived and were scattered in every direction. So all these things have been given, right? So if you try to see, understand, the greatest part of the United States forces being concentrated around Chicago and the east. This scattered attack all over the south, west, and north was disorganizing to our forces. There was great loss of life and property in all of this, right? So we'll just try to probably come down to the point. right? So it was there on 2nd of October, a concert was being called, and something which happened later on. Now let's try to focus on that, which is the exact date. The attack was well timed and they had every advantage of the United States forces. The first attack destroyed Chicago's great skyscrapers. The board of trade buildings, post office, and other government buildings were completely destroyed. Loss of life was appalling. Over a million people lost their lives. More defenseless women and children were killed than in any other battle during the war. When the sun rose over the great city of Chicago, on the morning of October 3rd, buildings were smoldering in ruins in every direction. It was the greatest destruction that has ever been in the history of the world, right? So probably this is one of the hints which has been given, right? So we have the dates, right? What is the date which has been given? That is 3rd of October 1931. So this is the probably date which has been given altogether to us, right? So the year is also been given 1931. Yes. So it was September 1931. So continuing with that, yes, we have got this. And probably as we have seen during the previous webinars, where how to identify maybe probably the important dates or what are the events where details have been given as such. So we understand that, okay, this is something very important, right? That we need to understand. So 3rd of October 1931, that is the day, right? So this is one of the hints that we are trying to do from our side, right? Now let's try to find out. Now, if you are talking about 60-year cycle, of course, I mean, like there's a permutation and combination that we have to go across through to find out the cycles, because the cycles can be of 20 years, it can be there of 30 years, it can be there of 60 years, it can be there of 90 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, something like that. So cycles are totally different. You need to do various permutations, combinations to find out those things, right? So let's try to go to a small Excel sheet where we are able to find out the details. So this is, sorry, this is 1931. So I'll just take down those dates, right? So this was 1931, and if we go back maybe 60 years, 30 years, 90 years, so we get these dates: 1830, 1871, 1901, 1841, right? So by doing this, probably we are able to do some research about these dates, probably somewhere around for the same time period, for the same year, for the same location which is there. And on the basis of that, probably we are able to find out certain details, right? Now, what we did from our side is we did find out about 1841 Chicago, right? We were not able to get much details. Then probably after that we went to 1871 and we went to Chicago and we found out something about fire. So probably there was a major fire or something like that which was during that time period, right? And the Great Chicago Fire was a conflagration that burned in the American city of Chicago during 8th to 10th October 1871, right? Now, if you try to check out with the year, yes, we are getting somewhere around 60 years, right? So 1871 to 1931, that makes it 60 years. Uh, that is the first part. If you check down for the month, yes, again, that was October. That was 3rd October 1931. Here we have 8th October to 10th October 1871. So somewhere around we are again getting the same things, right? That is a 60-year cycle. If you see in terms of the place, yes, we are getting the same place, which is Chicago, right? So Chicago becomes our main point, concentration point, right? Then comes the year 1931, and this is 1871. So that is a 60-year cycle. If we come down to the month, probably it's again the same month, somewhere around almost the same dates, right? 4 5 dates plus minus here and there is all okay, right? But again, we are able to understand that, okay, the 60-year cycle is somewhere around starting with the same part, right? There was a great Chicago fire during that time period. And again, this is like more of one of the greatest destruction that we have seen over here as per the writing. It was the greatest destruction that has ever been in the history of the world, right? So this is something big altogether, right? So these are the two hint dates that we have given from our side, right? Now, again, going back to the cycles, how to find out the exact cycles and how things have been happening. So for that, again, we need to find out some astrological, astronomical events which happened during that time. So this can be various things together, right? So again, you can go through astrolog or maybe Ganzilla or maybe other softwares that you use specially, and probably trying to go to those dates, try to find out, because specially I've mentioned the city also as Chicago over here, and try to find out various aspects, something which has happened critically during that time period, which you will be able to understand. Try to see what is common between these two dates. That is 3rd October 1931 and then the previous October 1871. So between these two dates, try to find out which is common. What are the aspects that you see are more of common, which happened probably during this time also and that time also, right? These are generally hints that we are giving to trying to give from our side so that we know about people, right? We know about people who are actually able to understand things in details. They can there share those details with us, right? So probably if you want to share, I'll just try to give some details from my side. So this, I guess, should be there in settings. So here my details have been given. So you can just try to coordinate or contact me over here. I'll definitely share these details in the description also so that it becomes easier for you to understand, right? So try to come out with your own logics, details. Let us understand things so that we told you about our intentions. We need to form a small group, a team of people who are interested to share their knowledge about WD Gann, right? We also want people who are interested to learn from others about WD Gann. But the basic thing is, yes, first of all, you should be understanding some basic concepts which are there, right? We would be able to then probably try to segregate people into different groups who maybe are there at first layer or maybe at second layer, third layer, or maybe at higher layers together. Yes, of course, there are higher layers. Don't see that, okay, this is only a layer one or two or three. WD Gann took around 10 years to just find out this all things together, right? So this is very difficult altogether. I mean, like you have to go through various things and then try to interpret this. This is not at all easy in any of the ways. People have gone through the books maybe three, four times, five times, 10 times. Still, they are not able to understand all the things together. So we want to cut short our time, try to make a group together and try to understand things. So we would be welcoming people who this can be from all corners. It's not that you should be only there based in India, right? You can be based in any corner of the world. It can be United States. You can be there in Australia. We have people who are there from New Zealand. We have people there from Nigeria. We have people from Germany and other places who have been in contact with us. But yes, we want to refine things together, try to share knowledge with each other so that we can have probably people being distributed into groups and try to find out things, right? So we had given a hint about this 60-year cycle. We want people to contact us, try to understand things from those so that we are able to scan across through people and then probably form our groups. So our humble request again is if you can get in contact with us accordingly on the basis of that, let's try to make a group and then try to put on things together in that way. Okay, see you. Thank you so much. Bye. Take care. We are waiting for your replies. Thanks.